Hey guys, just wanted to give you a heads up. This week is kind of a weird one again. Um, Steve and Ant. So the reason you can see them in the last episode, I heard your complaints. They were having work done. The both of them are back this week though. They're rejuvenated. They're looking better than ever. I think they're lively in this one, definitely more so than last week. And they're more animated than ever before. I hope you guys like the new look of them. I'm a fan. I thought they looked great. I think the surgery is settling down. I think next week they'll look probably more like they have in the past. But, this week they look like this. So let it settle, and next week they'll probably look the way they did before. But I think the work they had looks impeccable. Never looked better.
You're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Steven Dagacko.
And?
Andrew, yo. What?
Okay.
Yeah, because I did
You
it.
did it. You're supposed to.
Yeah. So
You're supposed to follow with your leader.
No, that was a great comedic 3-beat by Ant, because you expect him to do it.
Yeah,
and he doesn't.
yeah. It was his genius on display.
He subverted expectations.
I'm like Brienne Johnson.
Yeah. But we're watching Come and See this week.
Wait, well, reviewing.
Reviewing, yeah.
It's just us. Let's watch it.
We're laughing. It's
Be
like
quiet.
It's like that scene in Airplane where they're coming out of what is it, Apocalypse Now, and they're laughing. Not Airplane.
Platoon.
It's Naked Gun. Yeah, they're coming out of Platoon.
Yeah. Very funny.
That's one of the best montages ever made.
Is that the part with Herman's Hermits? Something tells me I'm into something good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 days. They do like everything.
I love that ends with him walking off the sidewalk into like the wilderness, and he just goes, "And where the hell was I?" Yeah, great movie.
God tier series. All of them, the whole series.
Well, we're here to talk about another great movie, up there with Naked Gun.
Just as funny.
Feel good romp.
Yeah. Laugh Riot.
Yeah.
Come and See.
As romance.
There's some romance.
I had never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
No, me neither.
I did.
You did.
You saw this before?
Yes, I went to go see this in a Manhattan indie film theater.
Film Forum. It was like
You're such a film guy.
It was like the first screening of it in America.
Yes, when Janus Films
in
mastered
2020.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was all excited because I had just heard about this legendary.
And Janus
movie.
also was trying to work the Golden Gun. He was trying to get it started.
The GoldenEye satellite.
Yes. GoldenEye satellite. Sorry.
Right. She was also trying to steal Tony Soprano's mother's money. Yeah. Come and See, the Soviet masterpiece from 1985.
Yep. Damn commies.
When I saw it, I kind of was like, I didn't know what to think of it. After rewatching it, I liked it a lot better the second time. Obviously, this is a bit of a propaganda piece for the Soviet Union.
Yes.
A bit.
Towards the end of the...
I kind of looked at it as a 2-hour justification for genocide.
I agreed.
But...
oh, man. All right. Okay, we're on the same boat there.
But that's not to say it isn't an accurate depiction.
These things happen.
Also agree, yeah.
I think it's a very, very good movie. What do you think?
I think the film is excellent. I love a lot of the themes. I think the last moments are especially powerful.
No, that's the poignant piece that that's the most important moment of the movie. Like
yes.
where they get their message across.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's that is a really hard hitting moment. I wish I don't know. It's lacking something to put it over the top
You're
for
right.
me, but I still really enjoyed it. And it's
Mhm.
like
It's very visceral.
it reminds me a lot of Apocalypse Now, where it's like just one hellacious thing after another.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And usually those aren't my style of movies where I like, character A is after something specific.
This is not fun.
And this is just like bad
Well,
thing happens, then another bad thing,
depends
and
who you
another
ask.
bad thing. But I think there's a lot of good symbolism and
Yeah.
Symbolism.
like really good directing on display,
Mhm.
and I generally really
I
liked it.
disagree with the directing part. I think the
It's very weird.
film looks incredible. I think that the acting is okay.
This
but
is considered one of the best child performances ever.
It certainly is. No doubt
I'm
about
not
that.
from him in general. I meant just the overall movie. I'm talking big scope. Like there's certain parts that I'm like, that's.
I mean,
weird.
it's in Russian though.
That too. It's a little more difficult.
I think
for me.
I think it'd be hard for us to really
Pick up on nuances of
Yeah, yeah.
language.
right.
Yeah, you're right. But and there might be some stuff lost in translation.
Definitely,
You know.
definitely. Like when I
It
saw
felt
it,
weird.
when I saw it in the theater, I went with our Russian friend,
Mhm.
and he was like, it wasn't 100% like the subtitles weren't correct.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
some things
They're
that just
doing
don't
their best,
Right,
probably.
yeah.
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 Did he like it?
Yes.
The one issue I had was with some of the direction choices, specifically with like just characters talking to each other, and the camera is straight on looking, and it feels weird.
I
and-
love it.
and it feels unnatural. And
It's very visceral and
now
disturbing.
contrast that with like the actual brutal reality of war, and then you have this weird film style. It's just that was the only gripe I had.
It's very classic cinema and classic directing, and also the movie's in 4:3. So when you think about it, your frame is a lot smaller.
Mhm.
So when they're showing you a head, it's taking up the whole screen.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's these
Yeah.
multiple times throughout the movie, just close-ups of people staring straight into the camera.
And it doesn't feel real. You know
It's
what I
it's
mean?
very dreamlike. It's
Yeah,
very
and I think
bizarre.
that's the separation why it's not. It doesn't set it over the top where it's like, oh my god, that was amazing, because you have that direct contrast of like, this is a dream weird sequence, and then you have, or at least looking, not really dream. And then
But
you
it's
have
just
this
like these
reality.
eviscerated faces of like people that are being put through hell.
hell.
Oh yeah,
and
of
I
course.
love that.
I
like,
understand why.
the kid in particular, his face is in that frame multiple times.
Yeah.
From the beginning
On
of the
purpose,
movie
yeah.
to the end.
And you watch him essentially age. They actually
Yeah.
dyed his hair gray
Yeah.
for the movie.
like you see him
He
by
turns
the
into an
end,
old man.
like just like he's been through the shit.
Yeah, and that's that's something that happens in war. If you look at like documentaries and old pictures where it's like, here's the person who joins the military early on, and it's like a wide-eyed kid like that. By the end of the war, they're like shell shocked and distraught. Yeah, so it makes sense. But
I forget the director's name. It's like
His
Aleksey
name
or
is
something.
Elem Klimov.
Garrick.
He,
can't
he
imagine why
was
you
a
remember that.
gay-coded Cardassian trying to bang a doctor on Deep Space Nine.
He was like a prolific filmmaker through the 70s. He had done like this Rasputin movie that didn't go over well with the Soviet censors because they portrayed the Romanovs as like in a good light.
Yeah.
And he had been trying to get this movie made for like a decade before it actually got made. He wrote a script. Yeah, come and see.
Yeah.
And the way things worked over there is it had to go through like the film bureau and all these bureaucrats and censors and all these people. And they wanted to change like a ton of shit in the movie. And he wasn't going to have that. So he just killed the movie. And then come 1985, we're on the 40th anniversary of the Soviet victory in the Great Patriotic War. They wanted to have a big film for it. So they approached him to redo the movie.
By the way, it's a pair of balls to tell the Soviets,
yeah, go
you're
fuck
not
yourself.
taking
Yes,
my fucking
right.
movie. Because they could go, no, we are.
We
and
are.
also we're murdering you.
Yeah.
Right.
The movie about Rasputin, by the way, is called Farewell.
Farewell.
It's based off Valentin Rasputin's novel Farewell to Matroya. So there you go.
Who's Valentin Rasputin?
Valentine.
Valentin.
Maybe it's his son or something.
Let's see.
I don't know. I thought that guy got.
He was a
He
Soviet.
was swinging it.
He was a Soviet and
Yeah.
Russian writer. He was born and lived much of his life, and he's just a writer, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's probably some relation.
but
Rasputin got
this
around.
does sound
He's very
interesting.
popular.
I saw
Ladies.
some clips from it. It looks pretty cool. Like we should.
I
do
would
it.
love to. Like, I feel like I'm missing as far as like my film knowledge. Like, I should watch some of the old Soviet movies. They're
Yeah.
probably fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Fascinating, yeah.
dying to see War and Peace, which is like the most epic movie ever made. Apparently.
Do you ever read the book?
No.
It's the best of times.
And the worst.
No, that's Tale of
That's
Two
Tale of Two
Cities.
Cities,
isn't
but it's good.
isn't it?
Do
Do you know the original title of War and Peace?
what?
War. What is it good for?
Mm.
No, that was the original title. And he
This is
changed
the Heil
it.
Five.
Yeah. I think you are missing a lot of like Russian film knowledge, but I also think that you would hate it because you hate
Well,
the Reds.
I mean, I'm looking at it more
Yeah.
from like anthropological and
He's
like
studying.
also like there's it is and
No,
like
no, I know.
and like studying
Alexa,
cinema.
shut up.
I'm killing her.
They heard us talking about the Soviets.
Yeah. Oh, comrades, we do this for great,
Starts
glorious
playing the
love.
theme.
But no, like I would watch it for anthropological reasons and
Sure.
like just to see what they're making at that time.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever hear about that one movie?
They got a lot of like interesting animation
Yeah, it's
from
weird
like
looking.
from like the 70s.
You ever see Worker and Parasite?
No, what is that?
All right, it's not real. It's an Itchy and Scratch. It's a Simpsons short
Uh-huh.
where like there's a strike or something, and Krusty needs to get like Russian animation to fill in for Itchy and Scratchy.
Uh-huh.
So he has this old Russian cartoon, Worker and Parasite. It's really fucking funny.
That's funny.
But anywho,
But you ever hear of the movie Russian Ark?
no.
No.
It's from 2002, but I've always wanted to watch it. They filmed it in one shot through I think that they took them like 3 days to like actually get the filming because it's one take and like
Mhm.
all these extras, but they filmed it throughout the
No, you fucked up. We have to do over.
yeah. We need new key grip. But like they film it throughout the Russian museum in wherever it's the Russian State Hermitage.
Oh, the Hermitage.
Yeah.
It's a giant museum.
But it's basically the one shot takes you through all of Russian history throughout the museum.
That's very cool.
And like it's like one take. So like they're panning through I've never seen it, but like they're panning through something and you'll
Mhm.
see like, you know,
actions
Catherine the
happening.
Great or whatever, you
Right.
know, and like different shit like that.
So they wanted to be Night at the Museum, but they just couldn't pull themselves.
Well, this is before. This is 2002.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that's what they wanted to be. They just fell.
No, you didn't have Ben
They
Stiller
have
on
been.
deck.
Yeah.
Who wants to be a black guy?
What?
That's what he said.
Yes.
In Night at the Museum?
No,
No,
in real
in
life
real
the other
life
day.
recently,
Oh,
yeah.
really? I missed that. Ben Stiller, you are my favorite motherfucker. All right. So
Yeah.
I guess it's time to dive in, right?
Sure.
Yep.
So we open, and obviously it's 4-3, which took me a little back. I wasn't expecting that. I'm not sure if the Soviets were making non-4-3 films because there's really no competition, right? Like
I don't know what any of that means. What's 4-3?
4-3 is 4-3 is the,
I do a movie podcast.
yeah. So 4-3 is the classic Academy aspect ratio where it's
Mhm.
like a square box,
Okay.
as opposed to like when you
Like
watch like
widescreen?
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where it's widescreen
Oh.
16:9,
Uh-huh.
which has been the standard basically since like the 60s.
Mhm.
4-3 is very rare to see.
It's
Like
old
the,
school.
The Lighthouse was 4-3. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe that's to invoke the old, war stuff from the 40s.
Well, I'm not sure if, but I haven't seen many Soviet
Mhm.
movies, so I'm not sure if they just were always in 4-3
Right.
or if that was a choice, But
Yeah.
I always take note of that when I'm watching a movie because it's odd. And we see.
Well, it's 1943
In
Yes.
4-3.
in
And I guess-
4-3
I guess where are we in?
in the war.
Yeah.
Because
we need that, right?
We'll give a little synopsis of the Eastern Front. So 41, Operation Barbarossa happens. The
You best
largest.
start believing in world wars. You're in one.
Ugh. You just see the skeleton captain coming out in fucking Murmansk. Yelling at a bunch of Slavs.
Yeah.
Running in horror. It's the largest invasion in human history. 3 army groups, Army Group North, South, and Center, all with different objectives.
It's the Germans, right?
Yeah.
Launching it.
They're unstoppable for a number of months as they plow through resistance, which is very scattered and not organized.
And are the Russians doing slash and burn yet?
Yes, for what they can.
Which can you explain slash and burn?
Well, the Russian tactic is always, when they get invaded, has for forever been.
Oh, really? That's like they've always done
They
this.
did it to Napoleon famously. Okay. They did it against the Poles in the bad times and the Horde. They always do shit like this. Scorched earth, they call it, where they leave nothing for the invader, so they burn everything.
Mm-hmm. You're getting barren land,
right?
No resources, no food, no water, nothing.
Interesting aspect to this particular invasion is that before the Germans get anywhere near Russia proper, they are going into the Soviet satellite states, places like the Ukraine,
Yugoslavia.
Belarus, not Yugoslavia, no. Ukraine, Belarus, Estonia, Latvia, all those places.
They never go to Yugoslavia?
Well, they do, but it's not part of the Soviet satellite states.
Okay.
They had already conquered Yugoslavia at this point.
Okay. Because I know there were the Tito partisans.
Yes. The local population, large numbers of them, not everybody, but large numbers of them, fucking hate the Soviet Union and communism. So they're happy to see the German liberators come and rescue them.
So there's a lot of people that are like, this is good?
Yes, and they are in the movie. That's why I bring it up.
Okay.
What else? The advance goes on and on into 42. Actually, I should say in December of 41, the Germans are stopped at the gates of Moscow, essentially. The winter comes in, the mud comes in,
and they're like,
and everything stalls to a halt.
All right, we got to stop here for now.
Well, they
can't go further.
They can't advance any further. The supply line's too long. Interesting aspect to the Eastern War is that I don't think it's brought up enough because it's a giant hindrance for the Germans. Mm-hmm. The Soviet Union uses a different rail gauge than the rest of Europe.
What does that mean?
The size of train tracks.
Uh-huh.
So when trains get to the Russian border, they have to stop, and anything on that train has to get on another train. Or you have to change all the wheels on the train you have or something to continue moving east. And this takes, it's
a pain in the ass.
It's a giant pain in the ass for the German army, which is trying to move as quickly as possible to keep the blitzkrieg going. Germany's not alone, by the way. They have a bunch of allies. You've got Romanians, Bulgarians, Finns, and Italians there too. To a much lesser extent, but they're all there.
Well, the Finns, they're coming off. Is it the Winter War?
The Winter War had happened where the Soviets had invaded Finland the year prior and they got beat. The Finns won, and the Finns were looking to get some revenge as well as reclaim some lost territory in the Karelia.
That's going on today still.
Yeah,
well, they're like ancient enemies, right?
Yeah. So after the halt at Moscow, the Germans decide to reorient their strategic goals. Most people would say that they do a bad job at this. They should have really been more focused instead of trying to do multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
They're also besieging Leningrad for the next 2 years. They don't move. They just are starving millions of people to death in the city, which is the old capital, St. Petersburg, for anyone who doesn't know. But Stalingrad is the new objective because when you get Stalingrad, you capture the Volga Valley and the Caucasus oil fields, which is a
resources.
Which they desperately need because the only source of German oil is Romania, which is putting out not enough. So they're trying to capture the Caucasus oil fields. And Stalingrad symbolically has Stalin's name. So
yes, you're taking
right.
It's not their capital, but it's their spiritual capital almost.
Kind of. It's also
it'd be like taking New York.
Before it was Stalingrad, it was called Volgograd. No, that's what it's called today. Tsaritsyn. It was called Tsaritsyn.
Okay.
And it was the named after the Tsar.
Yeah.
You know, so and it was a giant victory for the Bolshevik forces during the revolution. So it's like a holy city for the Bolsheviks. Yeah. They're trying to do that. Now Stalingrad, of course, is the largest battle of all time.
Yes. Goes on
for months and months.
Remember that movie we saw, Stalingrad? The Russian one? Were you there when we saw it?
No, I never saw it. I've seen clips of it. I've never seen the movie. You saw it?
We saw it in theaters because they did like a one-night release. So me, the P-Man, and his brother went and saw it. It was fucking ridiculous.
It's bad?
It's not good. It's like 2000, like maybe like, let's say 13 Russian propaganda. And like they're fighting and they're like, they need to like blow these guys up. They're behind a wall. They're like, we got to curve the bullet with the tank. And they like
curve the bullet.
And they like
from the other movie. What?
It's like
Ballistic.
It's
X versus Sever. What was that movie?
Wanted.
What was it?
Wanted.
Yeah, you gotta curve the bullet.
So they like whip the Russian tank shell. And they shoot it as they turn, and it like takes a corner. And
That's
blows
Bollywood
up these
shit.
It's absurd. Like you think like a movie about Stalingrad is gonna have some reverence, and it's like a goofy cartoon practically.
Oh my God!
It's like the silliest propaganda ever.
It's no enemy at the gates.
Yeah, no, it is not.
Wow. Curve the bullet.
The German army gets swallowed in Stalingrad.
Okay.
It's just
they run into a wall.
It's annihilated. They after, you know, what is it? Every 3 seconds a German dies in Stalingrad. That's the
I think that's
the famous quote. what was that show? It was that British show.
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing at it.
You love it. What is it, Brian?
Brian was the one who showed it to us.
It was where the guy, he goes on a date and he just keeps talking about Stalingrad.
Peep Show.
Yeah.
Every 7 seconds, a German soldier dies.
So the German army, they essentially take the city, but there's holdouts along the Volga at the tractor factory, where the Russians are able to pump out tanks from the factory itself, and the Soviet army will count. Stalin issues the order, not one step back.
Infamous.
Retreating is over.
Yep.
We've organized. We're ready to fight back now after a year of fucking
hell.
Yeah.
A year of hell. Red Foreman was there.
Yes, he was rearranging time and space to bring his wife back from the dead. Anyone who gets that, I'll be impressed. The Soviets surround the German army in Stalingrad. The Germans counter by surrounding the surrounders. And then the Russians recounter by surrounding the surrounders of the surrounded.
So it's like circles of men.
Yeah. The entire German army group is annihilated in the fucking melee.
Is this like basically the end for them?
As
far as Russia,
I think a lot of people would say, modern historians looking back at the war would say that Germany actually lost the war in 1941 when they didn't take Moscow.
Okay.
That was it. They should have. Well, they couldn't have. But it would have been prudent to make a peace deal at that moment.
Didn't they not really even have a reason to invade Russia? It was kind of just like
they had a ton of ideological reasons.
Well, but I'm talking about practical, like at that time.
Communism and Nazism were never going to coexist. To have this giant enemy who's weak at the time, you have to remember they just lost the Winter War. Stalin had purged the entire Russian army of its best guys.
Okay.
So they suck. The Russian army's terrible. They have to relearn how to be an army.
Okay.
That's why Zhukov flies through the ranks. that was a good. If Germany was gonna beat the Russians,
It had to be
It
then.
had to be then.
So you think Hitler was looking?
I think the Germans wasted a lot of resources in the West that they really couldn't afford to lose. Like there was no reason. Well, Hitler didn't declare war on France and Britain. They did that.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to fight them. He kept trying to make peace with them. Churchill wasn't going to have that. But yeah, that's why Barbarossa never really happened. Because, not Barbarossa, Sea Lion, because the Germans had no business over there. There's no reason to fight. The conquest had to be in the East. That's where the land, the good farmland for the Eternal Reich and all that shit. You needed the Ukraine.
The breadbasket of Europe.
Right. And you need the oil fields.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more
there's nothing to be
rich.
gained in France and Britain.
Yeah, like you get wine.
Yeah.
You get culture.
They get U-boat docks in France. That's what they gained.
And pissed off Irish.
Yeah. Anyway, 43 Germans were on the back foot.
Yep.
But it's not like the steamroller just crushes them and then it's over.
They're fighting.
They're fighting. There's
It's a war of
counteroffensive.
attrition.
There's Operation Citadel, which is the Kursk, the largest tank battle in human history.
And Russian tanks.
The T-34 is an amazing piece of equipment.
It's a great
but
tank.
it took a while to
Well,
get
I
there.
mean, it can curve a bullet.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like it took a while to get there. I feel like the early Russian tanks really failed.
Yeah. But that's kind of where the movie is.
Okay.
We're sometime.
Germans
it
are on
looks,
the back foot.
They never say what month it is, but it looks like it's a summertime in 43.
Yeah, definitely. By the end of the movie, it's winter.
Yeah.
But I feel like it starts like spring.
I don't think it is. I think
There's
the
snow.
whole movie's only like 3 days.
There's snow in the last shot.
There's snow.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's tons of greenery. Everything's green. There's nothing. There's no dead trees or anything.
I feel like the movie ends in the winter. That's
maybe.
I mean, because it's snowing.
It feels like maybe that's an artistic choice.
Well, I mean, I have another thing about the last shot, which I'll say, but I'll save it till the very end.
But the movie completely.
But also, there's traveling because, like, when you think of the Russian line, like if you're in the south, it might be nice weather. You go a little north, and you're probably hitting some higher elevations, and
But I guess that sets the stage for the movie, right?
Yeah, the movie takes place in Belarus, which is far behind the front line. Which is why you don't see the regular Russian army in the movie at all.
Yeah, they have nothing to do with this.
It's all partisans.
Partisan groups.
Which is a militia, basically,
yeah.
right?
The Germans are an occupying force. They're trying to keep this population under control. The way they go about doing that is murdering them.
Yeah.
No
man, no problem.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I guess. And the movie begins with little kid digging for guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even know what he's doing, and he's getting yelled at.
He's getting yelled at by the village elder.
Yeah, and there's two little kids, and one is like doing like a weird German voice.
Yeah,
Pretending
they're both
he's an
wearing
officer.
German uniforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're wearing German army equipment.
Okay, so I guess they found
They've
it.
dug it up because the Germans have graves. Yeah. They're literally digging up graves to try and find guns.
You need a gun to join the partisans.
Right.
They're not going to hand you a gun. And they find one. They find an SVT-40.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's a 7.62 10-round.
It wasn't a
Gewehr. Oh, I thought it was a Gewehr at first until I saw the magazine. I was like, that is not a Gewehr.
Is it usual for a soldier to be buried with his gun?
No.
Or is that because the Nazis were hoping for Nazi zombies to fulfill later prophecies in Call of Duty games?
I mean, it happens. I guess.
Yeah.
That's up to the people who buried them.
I feel like at that time, though, you're probably
like
probably hurting for ammunition and guns, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why would you? Bury
Not when they first came through the area. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could have been there a while.
Yeah.
But Steve, you're a gun guy. Would a gun even like function well after being buried for a while in like
I was thinking
the
that
Russian
too.
ground?
So
because here's the thing, we never see it actually work until the last shot of the movie.
Yeah. He never fires it.
There's a interesting couple of individuals on YouTube and other media forums that do tests like this.
The AK-47 is famous for being
that's what I was about
indestructible.
to say. Yeah. So this is almost like a precursor to that.
Okay.
It's similar barrel. I don't know about the inner mechanics of it. I'm not that good at
Yeah.
Russian guns.
This
But-
is a German gun, though.
The SVT-40. I'm saying if it's a 7.62 rifle.
Are you sure that's what it was?
Yes, I looked it up.
So this is a Russian weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you can look up the SVT.
Wouldn't they have like the Mosin Nagant more likely?
It is an SVT-40. Yep.
Okay.
They would,
Mm-hmm.
but
Which is a bolt action rifle, an old
yeah,
school.
yeah. This is an actually semi-auto, the one
Right.
that he has.
Yeah.
As you can see from the end, it's
Mhm.
pop, pop, pop. Which that's kind of why I was like, I don't think they would have been buried with that because that's an expensive rifle at the time.
Yeah, and the
Semi-automatics
Russians
were
weren't going to bury that.
No, the Germans weren't going to bury it.
Yeah,
Because they were using Kar 98s.
Yeah.
Which are bolt action rifles.
Yeah.
Like, good chance because it was sand.
Okay.
It would have needed to kind of like been cleared away because that could mess your shit up.
Mhm.
But there have been stories and you know experiments done where you'll put like a fucking AK-47 in mud and sand and dirt. And
they'll run
snow,
tanks over the thing.
and it'll work.
Well, yeah, that's one of the best
Yeah.
weapons ever created.
Yeah.
German rifles and pistols were amazing too. Like same thing. Russian rifles at this time like were gaining steam enough where they would work anywhere. They're very reliable weapons. Still are today. You know,
Not like the French weapons.
French weapons suck.
Do they? They're bad.
Oh yeah, the
British
Lebel.
weapons suck.
Doesn't that bell mean like beautiful? The beautiful.
Lebel. No, it's Lebel. It's one
okay.
word.
American rifles have always been
Always been
god
top
tier,
notch.
but they're
yeah.
expensive.
But as the kids are digging, they're noticed by a reconnaissance plane. Why is the guy mad about the digging?
Because it's recon.
Because the Germans, if they find out they've been digging up graves, are going to murder everyone in the town.
Which spoiler.
Which is what
Spoiler
happened.
alert.
So the guy's like, "You'll kill us all."
Yeah.
Like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And now we cut back. And by the way, the little kid is so enthusiastic
Yeah.
and happy. This is like the best moment of his life.
He's
Found
ready
a
to
gun.
fucking kill Germans.
He's like Luke Skywalker. I want to go fight and join. Everyone else has.
Yeah.
And his mother is like weeping and begging
This
him
is
not
Guys
to.
will
so
kill us
good.
now. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's
She's
like,
like,
"Just kill us.
Kill us now. Like
Yeah.
me, your sisters, like,
Mhm.
don't, why are you doing this? You fucking idiot.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you're a boy. Why?
He's got the two little girls.
Yep.
First I was a boy, but now I am a man.
And then the partisan guys show up and take him away.
Yes.
Wasn't he dressed as a German?
Yes.
The partisan guy had a full-on.
They're using German
like-
equipment that they've
Yeah.
scavenged.
Yeah. Which I guess you get what you can
Mhm.
get, right?
Mhm.
And the one soldier is like trying to make the little girls laugh.
Yeah, and it's
he-
just uncomfortable and
Yeah.
he's scary.
Yeah, they're like the scariest men ever.
Yeah.
Like,
I caught a strap on my leg. It's not funny.
I can't sit anymore. He's drinking the milk out of a cauldron.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the boy is like wide-eyed, like this is what I'm going to
Yeah,
join.
how cool are these
This is
dudes?
awesome. And
Yeah.
realistically, if you're a farm boy and you see that, yeah, you're probably going to be wide-eyed.
Oh yeah, it's totally believable.
Yeah.
And
He wants to go fight.
They took the fucking chicken.
they took
took
the
the
chicken. Yep. And you know the town sees him off and his mother.
They're
and all
also
that.
like quietly discussing murdering all the livestock.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, they're
They're not
take-
leaving it for the Germans. Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking all the resources with them,
Right,
which
right.
we'll see in a bit.
Right.
You know, and now we get where the kid is in camp and he
Yeah,
sees
partisan camp.
this girl. It's a quick flash of her. We're
Mhm.
introduced
Yeah.
to her later.
There's
Yeah.
a lot happening in this camp.
Yeah, what's her name? Glasha?
Glasha.
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 Yes.
Dancing, taking pictures. They're in the woods. You know, they got
No,
guns.
I mean you skipped a bunch. But-
I mean, that's the camp. He arrived at the camp.
Yeah.
They're showing the camp. Like, at
Oh, I
this
thought you
point.
meant the scene with the two of them.
No. This is the camp. This was like my bachelor party.
Yeah, I found it weird when I was dragged into the picture with the cow eating these signs.
Yes. we cleaned a big fucking pot with a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had more grenades though.
And like they're posing for a picture, and the
is
scene
cool.
is fun.
Yeah.
Like kind of, it's
camp.
lighthearted. You're almost like in the kid's perspective, where like,
Mhm.
look how cool this is and how awesome these guys are. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
being brought into this
The
thing.
guy falls over in the chair.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
silly.
It's fun. And then the
Then-
kid is on guard.
They take his boots.
Well,
Yeah.
oh,
He's not going out for war. He's staying behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to guard the camp.
and as he's guarding the camp, he sees someone and he doesn't shoot, and it's the commander.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Starts with a K.
Kushik.
Kosak. And he's like, "Why didn't you shoot me? I didn't give the password. Like, fuck you, you know?" And Kosak runs away. And then the girl, he doesn't stop her, and she follows after him.
Yeah.
And the implication there is that Kosak is banging her, right?
I thought so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why she was out in the woods crying in the next scene.
Yeah.
After he left.
Because, yeah.
She loves him.
Yeah.
So now the next scene is they're getting ready to march, and there's boots and shit. And they're
Boots and shit. You have a way with words.
Yeah, thank you. I turned into Jay. You know, they got that boots and shit. So they're like, "Hey, you don't need your boots. Give it to like
You're
this
staying back.
guy. You're staying back
to
at
a guy
camp."
who actually fights.
And he's the only guy left behind.
Yeah.
Him
Which
and
is
Glasha.
Which is just like, why would they do that? Why wouldn't there be other people?
I think Kosak is just like, this kid is going to
He's
be
too young.
absolutely
Yeah.
useless
Yeah.
in every regard.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not even a point in having him. Like,
Mhm.
he's just going to die. And, you know, it's just going to end up being a distraction or something. Stay behind with the chick.
Yeah.
Keep your gun. We might need it later.
Yeah.
They let him keep the gun. So
So now.
Glasha is crying in the woods, like you said, and Floor like comes up on her.
Yes.
And this is one of the scenes that kind of took me out of what was happening because of what I mentioned before.
it's very bizarre.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's not natural. It doesn't feel natural.
But I'm wondering if that's because the language barrier.
Even the way it's filmed.
It's odd. It's definitely
Even the way it's
odd.
filmed. You could tell it's meant to be odd. It's meant to make you uncomfortable,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time not uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's like, pick a lane here. Like, should I be comfortable or uncomfortable? Like, what are you trying to
Like
do?
they're staring at each other a lot. There's crying.
And
There's laughing.
It's everything.
It's this weird like juvenile romance that happens. Over,
not really.
But
over,
is
like,
it even a romance?
It's not even.
I don't
She's too
know.
old.
They're shaking trees.
It's awkward. I
She's
like.
too old. So, like, she's fucking the commander. And she messes with him.
He's certainly smitten with her, I think. at the
Yes.
Oh,
very
yeah, of
least.
course.
Well, she's, you know,
Mhm.
a pretty decent looking chick, and
Yeah.
she's alone in the woods with him, and she's like flirting with him at
Yeah.
times, coming on to him. Like she kisses him at one point,
Yeah.
just to tease him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, when
'Cause
you're
he's
all
a little,
about to die.
he's a little boy.
Right.
And you're in a farm village where, like, the nearest attractive girl is probably 35 miles. You know? Like,
Oh, I don't know. What about the village daughter? Everybody's thin. It's the Ukraine. They just went through the Holodomor. You're not going to find any fatties there.
we hear screaming in the distance, and they're like, "Oh, it's probably a beaver." Same thing. My bachelor party.
Yeah.
That's
But
what I was
there's
doing.
something I want to mention. So as he's marching through the woods, he steps on these eggs,
Birds.
Yeah.
birds' eggs.
Stork eggs.
That's a stork?
Yeah.
I didn't know what type of bird it
You
was.
didn't see a
The
stork
birds
walking
follow
around?
him around.
Yeah, I didn't know it's a stork,
It's a
but
stork, yeah.
the bird does follow him around
Mm-hmm.
after, and it's like there's symbolism there.
There's got to be. I'm not sure what it means.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the same thing. Like so let's try to think about this. He steps on these birds' eggs and kills these innocent babies.
Yeah.
And the stork is left behind to kind of reconcile with like the effects that this war has had on nature almost. Like innocents are always going to perish just like for being
You
around
could
this
take this in
thing.
so
That's
many
as
You
good a
know?
take
ways,
as I could come up with.
And I think there's a lot of things in the movie where it's the effects of war on nature, and I think we see it come up time and time again where
Mhm.
wildlife and animals are adversely hurt by the war.
Well, they do murder a cow in this movie.
They
They
do.
actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Animals were hurt in the making of this film.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure some people also stepped on those mines because who knows? It's Russian.
So they're left behind and they're like bathing in like trees and stuff. And it's like, it's almost pleasant with the two of them.
She does a little dance on a stump.
It's the last moment of joy.
His childhood. Yeah.
Of any joy.
Well, because all of this is cut short by explosions.
Right.
Yep. And paratroopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And were the Germans using paratroopers like
Oh,
that?
yeah. They invented that shit.
Did they?
Yeah, they were the first ones to do it.
Okay. Ours were just better, I guess.
They took a cue from the Germans.
Yeah.
It's not they were better or worse. It's just the Germans did it first.
Okay.
I mean, Americans are always going to be better at what we do, but
Well, obviously we're Americans.
we're Americans.
We're Costco guys.
Okay.
Of course we're going to have a chicken bake.
I love.
Oh my God. You're doing like one of those things.
I loved how they did this.
I thought you were talking
loved
about
it.
Ants like shitty TikTok jokes.
No, fuck him. He's gone.
We're
He's out
Costco
of the
guys.
conversation.
Of course I'm going to stop for a $1 slice of pizza on the way out. We're Costco guys. Of course I'm going to get the hot dog and soda combo for $1.50. We're Costco guys. Of course I'm going to try every sampler in the store.
Brian brings the boom.
I like that one kid.
What is Brian brings the boom?
You don't know you do know what I'm doing, right? I'm
Well,
doing
there's-
AJ and Big Justice.
I
They're
don't know
taking the
what that
world by
is.
storm.
I don't know what that is, but I know there's tons of TikToks like this.
Are you
He's the
guys talking-
Costco guys.
Are they? You're talking about the same thing,
Yeah.
but in different terms.
Well, Brian doesn't know the ins and outs of this the way I do because I've been studying these
You're
two
autistic.
fucking maniacs.
Okay.
for the
You're
past
autistic,
week.
and he's all about social media.
Yes.
So you two are you're talking about the exact same thing.
We're two ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
All right, can you explain this to me real quick?
Yes. So I think they're from Staten Island because
Okay.
they've been in the area.
Okay.
AJ, Big Justice, that's his son. The mother is the mother of Big Justice. There's a sister, Ashley.
Oh, the family.
The
You sent me one of their
the
things.
obnoxious Italian family. They are a crime against guineas.
Yeah, they have a song, We Bring the Boom.
They bring the boom. And they make tons of videos.
Crime against
All are
humans.
more insane and off-putting than each one more than the last one. They were in our neighborhood here. Like they went to a
live
deli by my house and were like, "This is the greatest pork roll egg and there they are, AJ and Big Justice."
Oh my god.
He's eating the chicken bake and the double chocolate chunk cookie.
I'll tell you what, they're both actually delicious.
They're boom.
So when they like something, they
They give it a boom or a doom. But when it's a boom, it's fucking big.
Fucking Christ.
I mean, of course, the Rizzler. We got to talk about the Rizzler.
Rizzler?
Yeah.
he confuses people with charisma.
He's like a 7-year-old kid who's obese. And he goes like this. And he hangs out with the two of them. He's the Rizzler.
He's got Riz.
Oh, he's like their friend,
He's like the kid's friend, yeah.
and he's the Rizzler.
He's the Rizzler, yeah. He's fucking huge, dude. I can't believe you guys haven't seen this.
the rabbit holes you go down.
Yeah.
It's really.
You sent one video of them like having like drinks or something in like a store, and like they gave everything a boom, and I was like, this was pointless.
They never give anything a doom. It's always a boom.
The Rizzler sounds like
Look up the Rizzler.
I'm looking it up.
a Zoomer villain.
Yeah, it's like Batman
Riddler.
fights him.
There's also cousin Angelo. He's got a piece of provolone.
Everyone's got a cousin Angelo. That's nothing.
Oh my god,
There's Jersey Joe.
the Rizzler man.
Yeah.
He's a fat little kid.
Oh my god.
Where is she? Yeah, I don't know. You
On the
got
Riz.
no Riz. You got that skibbity toilet Riz.
Ugh.
What is that? I've heard of that.
Okay,
toilet?
I spent 20 minutes the
We're
other
going down
day.
here now. We're
learning-
going down Zoomer fucking
It's not even Zoomer. It's Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha fucking teen.
It's like
bullshit.
alien shit.
We're like on another planet. With
Yeah.
this.
We may as well be talking about Vulcans right now. So I found out what Skibbity Riz is because they're making a movie about this.
They have shorts about it.
I don't know what this is.
All right, so that's where it came from.
It's nonsense.
So Half-Life.
What is Brat?
Brat is the new thing. I don't know what Brat is. I gotta learn Brat. If you know what Brat is, let us know in the comments. What isn't it like Brat Summer or something?
Bratwurst.
I got my wife mentioned to her Zoomer coworker that she liked something, like a person.
Mm-hmm.
And she showed me the text. She goes, "Look what this Zoomer said to me." She goes, "You're so biconic."
What the fuck does that mean?
Iconic, bisexual, bisexual and iconic put together. So like, I don't know. I think that's what it means. I'm assuming.
These people should be arrested for
Is that
crimes
right?
against the English language.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a real meaning, but I'm gonna put an urban
I'm about to do a
dictionary.
come and see on this fucking country because this is crazy. I don't know what's going on.
What's the skibbity toilet?
It means she's a bisexual icon.
Right.
Your wife?
I guess. I don't know.
Is your wife bisexual?
No, I don't think so.
All right, but Skibbity Toilet Riz.
I wouldn't be against it.
Someone took the Half-Life maker and they clipped
Half-Life?
Half-Life filmmaker. So like Half-Life the game,
Yeah.
the computer game, you know, like
From like 25 years ago?
Half-Life, Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Their engine builds other games and videos. Like
Valve.
Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike.
Left 4 Dead.
Yes, it's all that. You can use the characters and make it into videos, but you could also modify the characters.
Uh-huh.
It's like an early 3D animating tool
They still use this?
all the time.
Yeah, because it's available and it's easy.
Yeah,
Right.
every new game that comes out, instantly porn. Instantly.
So
It's ridiculous.
So this dude took like a clip of a song, like a Pitbull song or some shit like that, where the guy's like Skibbity, like it's like one line, and he took it and he put it in a video of a guy in a toilet,
His head
in a toilet, just singing a stupid dumb video. It went viral. And then he expanded it to become like this post-apocalyptic war where humanity are like toilet people, with their heads in toilets, and they only speak in like
tanks.
Skibbity.
Yeah.
And they fight like aliens. And there's like a 30-part YouTube series about this.
And people love this.
Kids love it, and like Michael Bay's making a movie about this, about the toilet people. And you know, and we're all gonna know about Skibbity Toilet
It's like
Riz.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Holy shit.
Look, we got that Skibbity Toilet Riz.
Do you know what's really sad? Like, that's being made into a movie, but there's a Warhammer 40K video series, like shorts, like 3 of them.
Uh-huh. Which
Done
has
by-
some of the deepest lore like ever.
Yeah, but it's done by one dude, one animator.
Right.
It's one of the more incredible 3D animations I've ever seen.
Really?
Like, that should be a movie or
Henry
something.
Cavill's making a Warhammer 40K movie.
Well, he's a huge fan.
Well, he's a huge fan, and
Yeah.
he's slavishly devoted to the source
he
material.
should be, because after
Yeah.
what they did to him with The Witcher.
Yeah.
Well, and everything else. Like, he's been burned so many times, and he's
Yeah.
like, no, if we're doing Warhammer 40K,
Yeah.
it has to be
Interact.
like ultra nerdy and accurate.
Mhm.
So he's like really like taking over
He's a
on this
cool
one.
dude.
He seems like a dude that you could actually get along with.
He'd
Yeah.
come on the show. He's nerdy enough.
Henry Cavill? Oh, that'd
he's
be
nerdy
funny.
enough, yeah.
The city.
He could play Twilight.
Oi,
Yeah.
how you guys podcasting without a license?
Oi!
He's English, so obviously he must be tedious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Where's that license for that bread
back to
knife?
Nazis and commies.
No cap. This movie's busted.
So the bombs go off.
Like we're
oh
beyond that.
God!
Oh, I know.
Like
That's old.
That's old.
Yeah.
We're in like a new frontier
Remember
of fucking
Fire? Or Lit?
Yeah.
That's already old.
Yeah. We are so fucking old.
Yep.
It was fat back in my day with a PH.
We used to say things were all that and a bag of chips.
Anyway, I love how they did this. The bombs go off
Yeah.
and it's just ringing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, that's done well.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's
it's
deaf
awesome.
now.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The forest gets carpet bombed.
Yep.
Mhm.
They drop the paratroopers. They have to run.
He's like, I have an
Yeah.
idea. Let's go back home.
He goes back to his village. With
You'll
the girl.
love my sisters. I'll bring
Yeah.
you home to my family.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a last ditch effort to survive. You know, because if they're caught, they're dead.
And on their way there's a part where they're like hiding and camping in a tent, and the stork just comes and he's staring at him like, "You killed my family, you motherfucker."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is what he essentially did to his own family with the digging.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now we get.
Not just whole
So they're
village.
taking a tree shower. The bird is like just walking around aimless, and it was like almost one of the most heartbreaking things in the movie to me.
You were sad for the bird?
Just like it lost its whole family and is just walking around looking for him. Like it doesn't understand what happened.
Yeah.
I felt nothing for the bird. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I feel
Did
bad.
you feel anything for the
animals.
bird?
I didn't think about the bird until Brian started talking about the bird.
Yeah, I didn't.
Bird is the word.
Out of all the things you could feel bad for in this movie, Brian's like that poor stork.
So they get to the village, and this was something I didn't understand. Suddenly, the kid is on crutches.
He's hiding the gun.
Ah, okay.
If you remember when he first digs it up, he puts it in his clothes, and then he's pretending to walk with a limp because it's in his pants.
Ah, that makes sense now. Okay.
You get caught, you're dead.
Yeah,
that's it.
So he goes home to the village.
There's nobody there. Seems abandoned.
Yes. And you're like, what's going on? He goes into his house and he sees a bunch of baby dolls on the middle of the floor with flies around them.
Mhm.
And he brings the girl and he's like, let's eat. And he's feeding her and she starts vomiting. Then he goes outside and is just kind of like looking around.
You're right. No one's there.
No one's around.
The village is empty.
And I believe that in the house was his whole family killed. And his brain wouldn't let him process.
Yeah, but we see them. They're outside. They're all
Yeah.
the bodies are stacked
You
up
never
against.
see the family. You see the
Yeah.
whole village.
Right.
I believe that those dolls, because why would flies be crawling on dolls?
Because the bodies are next to the house.
But no, they wouldn't be on the dolls itself. I honestly believe.
You think we're seeing what his brain processed?
Yes, because he loses his mind in that moment.
He goes insane. Yeah, for the next couple
Yes.
of minutes.
And I think that's what that shot is. Because it's like the whole family of dolls is neatly lined up on the floor,
Mhm.
and we see flies on them.
That makes no sense, though. I think you're reading into it too much.
Why? Why does that make no sense?
Because how she reacts. There's two people in this situation.
She comes in.
She's not screaming. She's just smiling. She doesn't experience horror until she sees the dead bodies as they're running away.
No, she throws up from the smell of being in there.
She throws up from the smell of the
Yes,
dead bodies
there's dead
on the side
bodies.
of the house.
Literally
Yes.
dozens of them stacked up against
on
the
the side of the house.
That
That's where the
hasn't seen.
flies are coming from too.
I think she honestly is trying to play it off normally, and I believe it is symbolism.
I think you're
about
being. I
the
think you're
dolls.
being.
It could
I think
be.
you're being a film nerd.
I think you
what I
may be
think.
looking too deeply into
Yeah.
this.
I don't think
Because
I
it's
am.
there. It's all there
It's
for
there,
you.
yeah.
It's
not-
there after.
There's no
But
symbolism.
I
to it.
really, why would the flies be on the random dolls? It doesn't make sense.
I
That's
don't know.
not.
You ever seen a fly?
I don't
They
know
go
how-
all over.
Yeah, I
But
don't
they
know how
wouldn't-
else I could say.
But they wouldn't be swarming on dolls in the
They
middle of
weren't
the room
swarming.
like that.
They were just there.
He wasn't He wasn't snarling. He's sneezing.
What is that? That's Men in Black.
You're doing film teacher stuff. Don't do film teacher stuff.
Why? I'm doing film. I'm a film teacher.
Yeah, but this isn't the.
Yeah, but you're also a bitch.
You're a bitch.
I'm going to disagree with that. So he runs out of the house after, and
Yeah.
and he just starts sprinting to like this bog, and the girl follows him.
Well, he knows that the villagers would go to this island.
There's a safe
Yes.
spot.
Yes.
Which there had to be an easier way around, right? Like they didn't have to go through the mud.
I would think. I don't think everybody went through that bog.
Yeah, nobody. There was no trail. Nobody was muddy. Like, what are you
Well,
doing?
he's not thinking in that moment, I guess.
Yes.
It's a shortcut. It's a moment of panic.
Yeah.
A shortcut, but
And the
This
girl
is,
sees everybody's dead,
Mhm.
and the boy, we don't
Yeah.
know if he ever actually saw it.
I don't think he did.
he didn't.
Yeah, because he just runs.
Yeah, and then when they eventually get through this mud, she's like, "Your family is dead. Everybody in the
Yes.
village is dead."
I saw
This
it.
is a crazy scene.
This makes no sense.
What?
This crazy scene. Like,
No, I'm talking about like them crossing the bog and she's like sinking in the mud, and
Yeah.
drowning. It's very like, whoa, this is fucked up.
it's weird. it's another weird moment that kind of took me out again. It's like, why are they doing this right now? I get it, but like,
Just the desperation.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess, but
What didn't you get, Steve?
maybe it's
I
not that
don't
I
get
didn't
it.
get
I
it.
don't
It's-
get it.
Maybe you
it's-
didn't like it.
I didn't like it. Yeah, I don't know.
So
It slowed it down. It slowed it down in that moment. You know.
So they get to.
It's a building. It's a bug.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So now they're standing in like this like area like by clear water,
Solid
and
ground.
she's like, your family's dead, and he flips out and like tries to drown her. Basically, he throws her into the bog.
Yes.
But then takes her out and saves her.
Yes.
So that's what I mean. It's weird.
Well, because he's just an emotional wreck. He's gone insane.
Yeah. It's
and,
weird.
And this big Russian shows up,
Yes.
and he's
Just
like,
there, yeah.
"Hey,
What you doing?
yeah, come with me," and he takes them back to,
The survivors.
the survivors.
Which seems to be a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, a fair amount made it out,
Yeah.
including the guy who was yelling at them in the beginning.
Well, I don't think he made it out.
He's
alive.
He has become a Beetlejuice character.
He's burnt. He was burnt with petrol.
He's that guy who died because he was smoking a cigarette in bed.
Yeah. He's quite burnt.
Yes, but he's still talking. It's the village elder from the beginning of the movie.
Yes. And he's like, I told you to not dig that this would happen.
Right.
And he's like, this is your fault,
Yes.
asshole, basically.
He gets the realization that he did this to his people.
Yes.
And that just breaks him completely.
And now they have a skeleton.
Yeah, claymation.
And they decide to turn this skeleton into Hitler.
Yes.
Which
Early
takes a
Tim
lot
Burton.
of skill.
Guy's very good. Very good.
I don't know anyone that can go into the woods, get a skeleton, and build a Hitler. That
Out of
takes
clay,
skill.
yeah.
Out of clay.
Out of clay, yeah.
I loved it. I could have.
That's the inverse of the dreidel song.
I gotta
What?
That's the inverse of the dreidel song. I had a little Hitler. I made him out of clay. It's the inverse.
Second verse, same as the first.
They'll spit on it.
Yeah.
And so now a bunch of the Russians are going out to look for food and supplies.
Yes.
And the
And he
little
goes
kid
with them.
wants to come with them. His name is Floor.
He doesn't want to go with
Yeah.
them. They drag him.
Oh, I thought he wanted to go.
Dude, the guy's he's sitting there with the rifle. They try taking it, and he's like, "Well, if you don't want to give us a rifle, come earn your keep. Come
Yeah.
with us."
Okay.
He's done. He's mentally gone. Like
I
like
think
you
this
said.
gives him a new purpose.
It does a little bit,
Yeah.
but you could tell he's still,
Mhm.
And he's looking up to the guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, what's his name? Uncle
Fester.
Yeah. We'll get to it. I have his
Yeah.
name later on.
All right. So they're going out and they are looking for supplies, and it cuts to them chasing this bald guy. And I realize that they're not chasing a bald guy. They're actually running from Germans.
They're getting shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Ball. I don't remember this.
Yeah, he's getting shot.
The bald guy is leading the pack. At first, I thought they were chasing him down.
Oh.
He has the bucket. He drops it. They still try to say,
Oh, yeah. There's that shot of them running down the hill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's after they had stolen something and it had gone bad. They had
Yes.
to abandon whatever they stole.
But the movie's kind of ahead of you. You don't fully
Yeah.
understand in that
Right.
moment what's happening. And then we get they hide and a tank goes past them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh shit. So they're like, okay, let's put Hitler in the side of the road
He's packed with explosives.
as a bomb.
Yeah,
We're gonna blow him up when like something comes by.
Right.
Um
Some leaflets get dropped on them.
propaganda.
Yeah.
where they're like quit basically, right? Isn't that kind
I
of
Says,
forgot
like,
what it
slay
says.
the Bolshevik pigs, make
Yeah.
them pay
Yeah.
for what they did, or something like that.
Right.
which I
Nice
guess
little rhyme.
those propagandas
Are
are
aimed towards the people who hate the communists.
okay.
Mhm.
It's which is a recurring thing in the movie. Like there's the Hitler the Liberator painting at
Yes.
the end. And the next scene, they go. Well, actually, it's not the next scene. There's a couple of things happen. There's some mining.
The mines of
Yeah,
Moria.
They
Right.
blow up one of the
It's a
guys.
minefield. Two guys go.
Yeah,
go
two of them get blown
There's
up.
like a foot left.
Yep.
But they end up at this guy's house and they steal his cow. The guy that they're
Yes.
stealing the cow from is part of the Belarusian Home Defense,
Mhm.
which is the
Now, how did you know that? Because I didn't
He
pick
says
up
it.
on that. He does. Okay. I
yeah.
missed
He,
it.
he says that they don't do A, B, and C in the Home Defense. He's a collaborator. He's working with the Germans.
Okay. So they have no qualms about
Right.
taking this guy's shit.
They have no qualms about taking this guy's shit, but they don't shoot him,
Yeah.
which is
They alert
I
the
don't
whole-
buy it.
They alert the whole town. They would stab him.
They take him out, and then they let him go. They let him return.
Yeah.
Because this is a Soviet propaganda movie, and we're not
nice.
killing.
We're nice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll steal his cow and show you war is bad.
But we'll let him.
We won't outright murder him.
Right.
Which is what probably would have happened.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what would have happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This part also interesting with this cow. So they actually killed the cow, the film crew. And they used live rounds throughout this whole all those things that you saw, those tracers and everything,
it's all
those
real.
were all real.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
The film directors are firing over the heads of the actors.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
Even Alec Baldwin's like, whoa.
Here's the issue.
Baldwin was manning the gun. They brought him over.
And maybe it's on purpose. I don't know. I want to see what you guys think. Those tracers were red. German tracers are green. They were getting shot at by the Red Army.
Well, then that's a flub.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know
Based
that
on the
either.
chemical compositions that were available at the time, most of those German tracers would be green. Now, maybe it's possible they came across some ammunition.
Maybe they saw
could
Star Wars and
use.
knew the bad guys had to be red.
Right.
Well, it's also red. Red, it looks cooler on
It looks
film, I
cooler,
Oh,
think.
wait, no,
Yeah.
the bad guys are green
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Well, they're Nazis.
Wait,
when they shoot the lasers.
They're red.
Are they? I thought they're red.
Yeah, like the TIE fighters shoot green.
Well,
And
but
the-
all the space lasers are green.
No, because the X-Wings shoot red.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know. I was thinking the blasters. All the
There you go.
blasters are red.
Yes.
Yeah. You could
Unless
actually-
it's stun and then it's the blue circle thing.
Which only happens like once.
Yeah.
Now it could just be that like the troops that were shooting, whether they're German or red, whatever it may be, got a hold of some ammunition from the Red
Well, what
Army.
if it's partisans? Like the pro-German,
It's
those
definitely
guys.
possible.
I don't know.
It's definitely possible. It's hard to tell, but like, just saying.
I think this is a bit of a
It's a gaff?
pick.
just saying.
Yeah.
I think it's a good detail.
Yeah. I mean, if you knew that, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I wrote Adam Hart mother in my notes when I saw the cow.
Just because you saw a cow.
Uncle Rubas.
Dun, dun,
He's a
dun,
goner.
dun, 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 dun. One of the best tracks.
So they're
Thor's gotta
trying to
cut it
drag
out.
the dead cow.
Yeah, they have to cut it up. You're not dragging that fucking thing.
Well, he sees a guy like having a horse with like
Well, there's fog now. It's
Yeah.
the morning.
Yeah.
And a guy comes and like just is like
What are you doing out here?
at the cart.
Yeah. and he's like, "Fuck you." Like, I'm
Yeah.
stealing your shit. And he's a little kid.
All right. And the guy's like, no,
No.
just get in the cart. We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I think it's like there was some clear German shit going on. Like they heard
The
Germans.
Germans were coming. Yeah.
And he's like, just get in the fucking in the cart,
Yeah.
hide your guns and shit. Say you're like this person. I'm bringing you back to my village.
Yes. he
Apparently, an entire platoon comes out of a transport vehicle. It was like a fucking clown car.
Well, there was
Did you see that?
Yeah, a
It was
bunch
like
of them
one
show up.
car,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you just see like people leaving.
It's like a
on the
half track.
sides.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people.
So
We get some solid mechanical logistics being shown in
So
the next few scenes.
This is like the big finale of the movie, and like the whole
building up to
This
it.
is the
yeah.
whole movie,
Right. Come and see our mechanical logistics.
It's based on the Katyn Village massacre, which is a real thing,
Okay.
where the Germans murdered.
It wasn't the
some-
English murdering the colonials in.
Yeah.
There's definitely some patriot reckonings. They did do this. They burned people alive in a barn. This
Yeah.
happened for real. One thing I would like to point out:
I have some numbers for the Catty and
Village
massacre.
this because what I was about to say is that there are two.
Okay.
There's the
Oh.
Katyn Village massacre, which the Germans perpetrated on the Belarusians, and there's also the Katyn massacre, which happened in 1940, where the Soviets killed 22,000 Poles in Katyn. So
Okay.
this village has seen some shit.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So
The Soviets invaded Poland,
the Germans get there, right?
and there's mass graves
And
that the Soviets have murdered a bunch of people.
so they kill the Soviets.
Not in retaliation or anything.
That's just what they do. I'm
this
just
is-
saying. I'm trying to get my timeline. correct
1940.
here. 40.
Before the German invasion, when
The Soviets
when
just
the Soviets actually invaded Poland,
massacred
They had prisoners.
22,000.
They brought them back to Belarus and murdered them. 22,000.
Jeez.
Now we're fast forward 3 years
Few years
later.
later.
2 years later, the Germans are back in town.
What's we're gonna kill you again.
Yeah.
How many was this?
So this is interesting.
100?
Um,
Interesting.
okay,
So
no, I
it's-
see. So the one about there's 2 separate articles for Katian massacres because neither says Katian village massacre.
Oh.
The first Katian massacre is
The Soviet one.
is a war crime that is utterly brutal. It's April to May 1940. They killed almost 22,000 Poles died in that.
Mhm.
This one,
I don't think he was listening.
Okay.
well, I was looking up everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I wasn't talking. Because it's confusing because I was looking specifically for the village massacre, but there were 2 articles. So I
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
had to,
But
but
went over it.
I know he did. I know he said all this, but
fine.
on Wikipedia, it's weird. So this is the one we're talking about for the movie: 150 deaths, 149 deaths, and 2 injuries.
Big difference between.
Pretty big difference.
Yeah,
Pretty big difference.
and it was March 22nd, 1943.
Yes.
God damn it.
So,
I hate communists. I hate communists so much.
but in the movie, they round everybody up into this barn.
Yeah.
And the Germans are just being dicks. They're complete monsters.
Savages. Yep.
They make the entire village go into the barn.
Yes.
And they tell them, leave the children and you can leave. We'll let you go free.
Yes.
And the only one who crawls out is the kid because
Yes.
nobody's leaving their kid in the fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
To die.
barn. Yeah.
And now you get a couple of famous shots.
How about the Bush baby?
Bush baby.
The German generals just going around with
That
a
was
Bush
a
baby.
slow loris.
Oh, it wasn't a Bush baby?
That is a
Oh, I
slow
thought it was a
loris.
lemur. Okay.
Everyone thinks it is similar to a lemur.
They're poisonous.
Slow loris?
Yeah. That's why they put their arms up like that.
Mammals can be poisonous?
Yeah, I'm pretty
No
sure.
way.
Well, platypus, I think, is poisonous.
Yeah, but the platypus is a fucked up, bizarre animal.
Well, it's
It is
not
like,
a mammal.
It's like a
That's
lizard.
super-
It's like a lizard, right?
That's God's mistake.
It was the leftover parts.
Well, I think it was a huge problem, a huge mess up in the movie here to have the slow loris.
Why?
Because I can't take anything seriously if I'm looking at a slow loris.
Yeah, that guy had to be in like the African front, right?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
he's there.
I'm like that guy has a slow loris. I'm like, is that?
Where do they live?
I don't know. They're jungles. I don't know.
Where does the loris live?
He's got a computer.
The Lorax? Isn't he like in Seussland?
He speaks for the trees.
Yeah.
They're adorable. I want a slow loris. Does that make me a Nazi?
Yeah, but this was an evil one.
The slow loris didn't. He didn't
It's
do
like
anything.
the monkey in Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think it was a Ratatouille instance where he's
Doesn't
like?
the monkey howl?
Yeah, he does.
It's like Ratatouille. The slow loris is controlling the SS.
Slow lorises produce a secretion from their brachial gland, a scent gland on the upper arm near the axilla that is licked and mixed with their saliva. So that's why they put their arms up like that, because they're licking it and getting the poison.
You're just telling me this thing licks its own armpits.
Yeah. What are you?
What are
But
you
it
talking
produces
about?
a poison from
Oh.
it, and then it rubs itself with it.
Why?
Ooh, I'm poisoned.
I guess kill predators. I don't know.
If you take me out, I'm going.
Before they stash their
You're
offspring,
going with me.
before stashing their offspring in a secure location, female slow lorises will lick their brachial glands and then groom their young. But they mix the toxin all over themselves. The toxic bite.
Remember when the slow loris tried to kill Batman, but he was wearing rubber lips? And saved
My
him?
rubber lips are immune to your charms. This toxic bite is a rare trait amongst mammals and unique to
Rubber
lorisid primates.
Really?
There you go.
Never leave home without it. The bat card.
Look at the nipples right here.
Now watch me hit this draft.
Okay, so
There's rape.
there's rape
Murder.
Just horrible, awful scenes.
Horrible things. Yeah.
and
The worst of humanity.
an
in
entire
one instance.
Village is burned alive,
Yep.
and then anyone who gets out gets machine gunned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, vicious.
How does the kid survive this?
He just climbs out, and they take him. They take that picture of him with the gun to his head.
Yes.
Photo op.
But
they just leave him.
They just leave him.
Which
because they said anyone who climbs out will let you live.
Yeah.
They weren't lying. He was the only one who climbed out.
No, there was a few.
There's a couple.
There was a
like
couple that
5
climbed
people.
out.
Now, is it Glasha who we see getting raped?
Yeah, you see her later on.
Yeah, you see her later. Yeah.
Mhm.
In this scene, it's someone else.
Yeah.
A
lot of rapes happening between these two armies, I gotta say.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's like, we rape you, then we're raping you back, and like, you know.
This is the worst humanity ever got, is the Eastern Front.
Mm-hmm. Pretty bad.
It's just animalistic
Yeah.
everywhere.
Genocidal race war of just destruction and death.
Yeah.
In the movie, the Soviets are definitely painted as righteous in their brutality. In fact, they aren't really all that brutal.
Yeah, they're actually kind.
The steady hand of mercy.
Well, the way
merciful.
Yeah.
In the
Like in
movie,
Gladiator.
we never get. I mean, so let's talk about this a bit at the
we'll
end.
get to the
Well,
scene.
this is the scene. It's happening.
But
now.
it's almost like
the Germans leave.
leave.
They do a quick bounce. Yeah.
And they're moving on, and now the kid is just marching through, and he sees like
he comes upon
Glasha's
a battlefield.
Yeah, and he goes back for his gun.
Yeah,
and he finds it in the haystack.
Right.
And then where are we?
He starts walking.
Yes.
And he comes upon
partisan.
The aftermath of a battle.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's Mercedes trucks in the movie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which I just, they're like,
not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes.
Yeah.
At one point, there's like a Mercedes van driving and guns firing out like the sides.
Yeah.
It was like, what is happening? But
yeah. But
there's yodeling music, I think, to really show the supremacy of the Germans in this moment.
Yeah. There's definitely they're trying to make it as German as possible.
Yes,
specifically. That's why I said this is a 2-hour justification for genocide.
Yes,
it is righteous and good to murder Germans, because they're Hitler
and because they all rape us, we should be able to rape them as well.
The partisans have defeated the Germans. And
yes, we don't see it.
Right. There's a group of them under a bridge being held at gunpoint. And they all one of them is like a high officer.
Yeah. Defiant.
The real Katyn massacre, I want to point out, was done by the SS.
Yeah. Well, we see in this, the guys have SS helmets.
Yeah, but they say that they're Einsatzgruppen.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
The Einsatzgruppen are death squads.
Okay.
That are hunting Jews, essentially.
Okay. They're specifically
and there's one moment in this movie where they're like, we caught a Jew.
Yeah.
And they kill him.
That was not the case in reality. But it's really makes no difference.
Yeah, it's the SS.
Right.
It's a nitpick. They're just pulling a name.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the Russians have won, and Glasha has been gang raped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has blood coming down from her legs, and she looks awful.
Right.
And Floor, the main character, sees her.
Yeah.
And like is registering this.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we can assume that the Germans got her.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Russians are kind of, they let the Germans explain themselves in the movie.
Yes.
And they're just like, there's the one guy denying that he did anything, and then there's another guy who's just straight up like, we want to murder your children because you don't deserve to exist.
You're a communist.
Yeah.
We will succeed.
Yeah. And then they're debating whether or not to burn these guys alive. So they dump petrol all over them, and then decide not to burn them alive.
They just
they make the German guy
they
dump
didn't
petrol.
make him do anything. They said, here's your petrol. You can kill each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to show how barbarous he is, he'll just betray his own people.
Right. Because the Soviets wouldn't do that.
No, never.
They would never do that. They would never burn someone alive. Fuck out of here.
So they all these and these guys are Russians who are fighting for the Germans. right?
One of them, they're Germans, but there was the one guy who was probably a Belarusian.
Okay.
It's like I was forced to do all this.
Yeah.
And he betrays his comrades,
Yeah.
And then the Russians, being the merciful people they are, just decide to machine gun them all instead of burning them alive.
Right. Don't let them burn each other alive.
Right.
We'll kill them all.
Yeah.
And that's the
And well,
end.
now-
and then the big scene.
Okay, so now we get a moment where there was the Hitler the Liberator sign,
Yeah.
and the kid walks over
It's
to
a painting.
It's a painting. And he points his gun at Hitler, and he starts shooting. And as he's doing it, we see World War II in
Actual
reverse.
stuff.
Yes.
Real footage happening in reverse. Like
Right.
buildings are being rebuilt
Mhm.
and everything.
And it just keeps going further and further back in time.
Till we get to
he just
Hitler.
keeps pumping bullets into the painting.
Yeah, until we get to Hitler as a baby, and he's
Yes.
faced with the question which everybody has always been asked: would you kill Hitler as a baby if you
Mhm.
could? And he stops, and he can't kill baby Hitler.
Right.
And then he goes and joins the Russians
And they
to
just
continue
march
fighting.
on.
And they march on. Now, this shot is brilliant.
You think so?
It's awesome. It's like at even the worst person at their core started as
a baby.
a little fucking baby. And it's like the ripple effects that person can have
Mhm.
are immense. And killing a baby is always fucking wrong, even when they're going to produce so much fucking evil, you know? And I think that's like kind of the stance. It's like, don't be brutal and barbarous. It's not going to get you anywhere.
So you're anti-abortion.
Like, showing mercy to this baby is like the last vestiges of humanity that you can
That's still there.
have in this circumstance. And it's like the message of the movie is like, this baby had potential, and due to the First World War and like all these other things, it shaped him into the guy he became, and it takes that anti-war stance at the end of him saving the baby. It's metaphorically saving the baby. I think it's a pretty brilliant finale to the movie, and it punches the whole thing home because we all start the same.
Sure. That's the movie.
Yeah, let's come and see.
What do you
Well, one final thing that I want to talk about that I found interesting. So he marches, right?
Yeah.
And it's not winter. Like, he rejoins them. Then the movie kind of cuts, and there's credits and stuff, and it pans to a winter forest, right?
Yeah.
And his gun is unique.
I don't even remember this.
It's the end
it's
where
a
it
nothing
says,
shot.
It says
Oh, it tells you how
This
many
is where it's-
villages.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
600 and
yeah,
something.
628.
Yeah.
Belarusian villages were
Yeah.
annihilated.
But while watching it, his gun is unique
Wawa.
in the movie
Yeah.
because it's wrapped in duct tape, white duct tape.
Well, he bandaged it because it gets shot.
got
Well, that's
broken,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But it's unique. And we see him marching in the back of the line with the troops when he first joins them, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In the last shot of the movie, his gun is not there when they're in the winter. And I believe it's implying that he did not make it.
You're all about adding symbolism here.
But
Yeah.
it's how could it not? He's
I'm
joining
not telling you you're wrong.
he's
I'm just
joining
saying,
he's joining the platoon.
I don't think there's enough information to
Yeah.
really draw that conclusion.
He's joining the platoon at the end.
He wasn't joining a platoon. He was with
He's-
the partisans.
He's with the partisans at the end.
Yeah.
And then the camera fades over to winter, and we see almost a mirror shot, and his gun is not there, and his identifier is not there.
Or maybe they got new guns. Maybe it's a different troop altogether. Maybe it's the Red Army. Maybe it's a different partisan group. Maybe it's not even Russians. It's too much to guess. This, like he said, if there's not enough information, then why bother trying to guess? It makes no sense. I like that idea. It's a cool
I
idea.
think that's what it is.
You'd have to ask the director.
You gotta ask him. Yeah, do you speak Russian? get Google Translate. Send a
Russian.
message.
But yeah, so would you guys kill baby Hitler? I was asked this the other day, actually.
No.
And I said I would not because the effects on the world would be too drastic.
I'd love to see the effects. Honestly,
I'd kill baby Gabriella Princep.
yeah.
Now that's a move. I would kill baby Marks. Baby Mark's got to go. Without baby Marks, baby Hitler might not be that much of a problem. Or Prunep, is that the guy's name?
Who?
Or Prunell, one of the founders of socialism.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking
yeah,
about,
I know
right?
you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
All right, but that's come and see.
Yeah.
What do you rate it, guys?
8. This was tough.
And 8.
This was tough. 6.5.
Wow.
Don't think this was something I want to watch ever again.
Well, that's to be sure.
Yeah, I don't want to
Of
watch
course,
this again either.
but
But
I
that doesn't
also-
mean it wasn't great.
I also think that there's stuff that I just didn't like in the movie, like in general.
Okay.
That's all.
I really thought this was pretty brilliant. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cinematically really well done. I'm gonna go 8.5. It's lacking that one thing where I'm like, yes, like, but I really liked the overall message of the movie. I mean, like, having your country invaded by like a complete military force has to be one of the worst things that could fucking happen.
Hard to think of something worse.
And it's like, America has been blessed that
With
has
oceans
and then like a
Weak
military.
neighbors.
Like when was the last time a military like 1812?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we've never had to really deal with this horrible shit.
We'll deal with the Canadians one day.
Oh, fucking. It's going to be. Yeah, never mind.
Damn red leaves.
I'm not going to make my liberator joke. All right. But
all right.
this is a terrible drawing. I don't
You
even
don't
like this
say,
one. I didn't know what to draw for this movie.
You don't say. Is that a house?
Yeah.
It's
I
got
guess
no
that's
roof.
It's fire.
I see that there's
Oh,
fire.
it's the barn.
Yeah.
This is one person.
Well,
Where's the other people?
the boy is out of there.
They-
The kid got out.
We're seeing what
Oh.
the Germans are seeing.
Yeah.
Right, and I guess this is an explosion or something.
No, that's a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, it was late and I started writing my notes on the top line.
Yeah.
I was writing 4-3 and I was like, wait, no, that's not right. So then I crossed out. Yeah.
That was come and see.
All right. Well,
Definitely feel great after it. You know.
Europa o morte.
emote.
Once again, passing in the night. It's just-
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening.
For watching, listening, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Jazz.
Want to give a big thank you to everybody listening and
Wanna
or
thank
watching.
you to the Soviet Union.
That's
Thank you.
Want to give a big thank you to everybody listening and or watching. We greatly appreciate it. Want to give a big thank you to Tom, Steve, Dave, Brywalk, Q, Get 'em. Last record down in the studio. We greatly appreciate it. Please like the show on all social media. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on this video. It helps potential sponsors find the show. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's Brian Rupert with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones on my personal life. Follow the show on all social media at Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Go to reviewinghistorypod.com, buy some merch. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
As if we didn't bleed enough.
He-Man.